I've been in tech sales for 9 years at Oracle, Google Cloud, now a late-stage startup trying to go public. And I've got friends in all the high tech sales places like AWS, Dell, Salesforce, Datadog, Snowflake, you name it. And I have definitely seen the ugly side of tech sales, and I'm going to show you that today. I am the biggest hype man for a tech sales career, and I'm always singing the praises of this path, but today I'm not going to pull any punches, and I'm going to tell you exactly why you shouldn't get into tech sales. Because it can be a roller coaster and a tough, bumpy journey, and you got to decide if you're the type of person who is willing to go along for that ride. We're going to talk about 4 harsh realities of living the tech sales life so you can decide if this is something that you want to sign up for. And at the end, I'm going to tell you why I still think this is probably the best early stage career you could ever start out at to create an amazing life. I can't help it. I always flip things positive. If you get value out of this video, make sure to give the like button a love tap because the YouTube algorithm loves that too and will show this video to more people who could benefit from the message. And share it too, that definitely helps as well. And make sure to subscribe to the channel for weekly videos and check out my Sell More, Live More newsletter, which is a bi-weekly newsletter committed to your success in tech sales and in life. All right, let's dive into it. The first ugly aspect of working in tech sales is you are going to face rejection almost on a daily basis. And we all have a deep-seated fear of rejection. It goes back to our caveman and cavewoman days where we really depended on community to survive, and if we got ostracized, we were screwed. Making cold calls and interrupting a stranger's day is unnatural and uncomfortable. Anyone who says they actually like making cold calls is a little bit crazy. In my personal tech sales career, I've experienced a healthy dose of rejection, and I've had guests on the channel like Corporate Bro who tell stories about being brutally rejected and cursed out by angry customers. If a life of rejection and failing more than you succeed doesn't sound like something you want to deal with, then tech sales definitely isn't for you. The second ugly aspect of a career in tech sales is that you're going to constantly face pressure. Your manager's going to be asking you for deal updates. Once you find a big deal and add it to your pipeline, leadership's going to be all over you asking for updates and putting the pressure on. You're going to be held to account to deliver specific business outcomes, setting meetings, generating pipeline, closing revenue. And the line between success and failure is going to be very clear. When you don't hit your numbers, it's going to smack you right in the face. And if you're not careful and you don't have a healthy self-esteem, you're going to start to tell yourself the story that I'm not good enough. And it's going to actually impact how you see yourself. I have a friend who was at Microsoft that told me it was a really competitive environment where everyone was stacked ranked and they could see exactly where they fell on the list of the total sales organization. They could see if they were last, if they were first, or somewhere in between. And every seller was ranked a 1 to 5. 1 being at the top and doing really well, where your job is safe, and 5 being at the bottom of the totem pole, where your job was in jeopardy. Some tech companies do go through cycles where they weed out the chaff and get rid of the low performers. Sales is an outcomes business, and there will always be pressure to deliver. And even if you do deliver, it doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It's what are you doing for me today? And you're going to have to continue to prove yourself over and over again. In sales, the grind never stops. The third ugly aspect of working in tech sales is that politics really matter. And specifically, if you have a bad manager situation or don't get along with your manager or leadership at your company, you could be a top performer and still get screwed over and ultimately fired. I've had friends at some of the top tech companies in the world, and I won't name names for the sake of discretion, but one of them in particular closed multiple $135 million deals. He has executives who would write notes for him validating that he was the best sales rep there is and the reason that they buy from his company that he sells for. And he hit his number 7 years in a row, but he finally ran into a horrible manager situation where the manager flat out didn't like him and wanted him out. That manager found a way to put him on a performance plan even though he destroyed his number, and he was forced to find a different opportunity. I've seen this happen multiple times. Even at some of the best companies with the greatest cultures, if you get a bad manager situation, you are in big trouble and you're at risk. Sometimes in tech sales, if you want to keep your job, you have to walk on eggshells. You have to kiss some you-know-what just to stay in the game. And the fourth ugly aspect of working in tech sales is that over time you are guaranteed to experience layoffs. I was recently talking with someone who spent 17 years in the industry at some of the top tech companies out there, and he experienced 4 layoffs within those 17 years. And in one scenario, he came into work and all of a sudden his badge just wasn't working, and he went to the front desk and they said, "Here, just stay here, we'll figure it out." And then their manager comes out with the police and they're like, "Yeah, you got let go." I've seen other people in my network who did a great job in their role. They got promoted and the very next day they were let go. The tech industry is dynamic and chaotic, and so are the companies within it. And a lot of times it isn't personal, but a company could make a shift in their go-to-market strategy and all of a sudden a bunch of sales roles are eliminated, even if you did perform well. That's not to mention when the economy is in a tough place, and of course layoffs happen at a much broader scale. In many cases, when you're laid off, you will get a severance, so you have some cash runway as you figure out your next role, but let's be real, it's always shocking and it definitely sucks. So that's the dark side of tech sales. I'm not gonna hide it from you. You're going to face rejection. You're going to experience a lot of pressure constantly. You're going to potentially run into bad manager situations and have to play the politics game at risk of not getting along with your manager and getting fired. And you might experience layoffs. In fact, I can guarantee you will experience layoffs if you work in tech sales for long enough. So you might ask me, Chris, with all that craziness in the tech sales world, why would I even consider starting a career in tech sales? You might say, Chris, getting rejected like that and getting laid off like that would have a huge impact on my identity and how I see myself. It'd have a huge impact on my family. And you're not wrong. And let me acknowledge that I'm a 30-year-old single guy with a puppy. So it's a little easier for me to take risks and be the man in the arena. But that is ultimately what it comes down to. I think that tech sales gives you a unique opportunity to step into risk, and in doing so, give yourself a shot at outsized gains. Yes, you have to deal with all this BS, but you also get the opportunity to go down a path that quickly gets you to deep 6 figures and can even put you in a position to make $1 million a year in enterprise tech sales at companies like Oracle, Google Cloud, Salesforce, Databricks. And I'm telling you this because I know specific people at all of those companies who have made $1 million a year. If you put up with this BS on this path, you will make amazing friendships and connections that enrich your life. If you can learn to deal with rejection, you can develop your self-esteem, become immune to rejection and failure, and ultimately become unstoppable to make things happen that wouldn't otherwise. If you can handle the pressure in sales, you can handle just about anything. And as Kobe Bryant says, pressure makes diamonds. Rest in peace, Kobe. And if you experience a bad manager situation, or dare I say you get laid off, you can exercise the last of the human freedoms, the greatest of the human freedoms, which is our ability to choose our perspective and our response. When put in a bad manager situation, one of my friends found an opportunity to move internally at his company to an even better patch, and he ended up crushing his number by making the transition. He responded to the situation productively and got an even better outcome. My friend who crushed his number for 7 years and then finally found a manager who wanted him out ended up making a pivot to a different company where he gets much higher pay, and he's surrounded by a team that really supports him and wants him to be successful. I know for a fact that we can transform all of our greatest problems into opportunities that catapult us to our next level of success. And I also know that life is like a tapestry. On the back, it's chaotic and full of knots, and that's how your journey in tech sales might be. But without those knots, you don't get the beautiful image on the front. Tech sales will build your character. It will unlock your potential. It will open up connection, and it will open up the financial freedom to create a life of true freedom, flexibility, and impact. If you can watch this video and stomach the ugly side of tech sales, and you're still amped up about this path and you want to hop on it, or you want to grow on this journey, then subscribe to this channel, because this is the place where you come to start and grow your tech sales career. And check out my newsletter, the Sell More, Live More newsletter, linked in the description of this video, for bi-weekly insight to help you grow your tech sales career. And if you need some guidance on your journey and you want coaching breaking into tech sales, or getting promoted from SDR to AE, or growing your career, feel free to book a coaching call through my link in the description of this video. To your success in tech sales and in life, happy selling and happy living, and we'll see you in the next one.